Is it time for your regular daily period of unconsciousness? We've arrived at Phineas's orbital lab. I think I'll initiate an unscheduled crisis.
Hello? Can you hear me? Does this work? Oh, damn it, blast, that's loud. I'm just securing my ongoing experiments. And securing myself. Mind the mess. I haven't had a visitor since... in fact, I've never had a visitor. Oh, thank the law. Your skin hasn't spontaneously changed color. Potential side effect of the revival Right. Welcome to my little habitation, such as it is. I've got So, welcome. Make yourself at home. My secret hideout is your secret. Not at all, my intrepid accomplice. I only regret that I couldn't save more of your fellow settlers. What? Of course. What's... Oh, it's not you. I do experiments in that room. Some of them get quite science. Regardless, it's quite comfortable. Oh, well, no, I imagine. Life outside work? No. For that matter, everyone else's lives are also my work. An entire colony's work. To answer your question, I'd rather stay right here in my lab. There's too much work to be done. The Hope's colony... Because we've lost our way, the Hope is full of specialists, scientists, engineers, talented individuals like you. People who haven't been corrupt. Unfortunately, the Hope's colonists have been frozen for decades, well past your shelf life, so to speak. Ah, you begin to perceive the truth. Yes, according to the board and their narrow-minded scientists, you should be a pile of organic sludge right now. 10 years. That's how long the average human can remain in hibernation. But the conventional theories are wrong. You're living proof. We'll do our very best to save them all. I'd best get back. Aha! I see you found my portable molecular compression device, better known as a shrink ray. Find a target, point, shoot. Your target will shrink down into a manageable size, whereupon you may commence beating them to a pulp. Feel free to try it on a marauder sometime. Careful, that's my communications terminal. Your old hibernation mask. Had to remove it, you know, in case you were prone to vomiting. Reviving you from hibernation was my greatest accomplishment. Your odds of survival were a mere 28%. I hope you're not thinking of they might tempt you with promises of wealth, but don't be fooled. What's...
Captain, if you're looking for crew members Ellie or Felix, they're sharing a drink upstairs. Destination reached. The Groundbreaker.
Unless you're here to file an incident report or to inquire about the bounty posting, I must kindly ask you to clear out. The Mardet... Got a hot one for you. Captain Gunnar McRed. Just 26 hours old. Allegations include several counts of flying... Swerving in the air was more like it. Spilled Rizzo's Violet Spectrum vodka all over Officer Hartley. An affront of its own, considering none of us are approved for anything higher than green spectrum. Kicked one right in the kneecap while he poked the other in the eyes. McRed's lucky we're too backlogged. But if our resources clear up and we catch him before some contractor does, I fully plan to lock him in ISO with them. Last tip we got pointed toward the back bays. You want the reward? Do the legwork. Oh, I will. Soon as the chief approves the personnel You and about 6 other enterprising mavericks. It's only a matter of time. I do hope you're the lucky hunter, though. Good. Do I look like your gossipy best friend? While I'm on... Then get... We're the security force here on... The original force was made up of a Marine detachment from... Folks started calling us Mardettes because it was easy.
Hi there. Heavens. What can ground... This is the... If you're here to report a crime, you'll want to talk to Commandant Sunita. I'm not so good at filing. Mix up first name and surname 1, 2, 7 times. Well, folks are liable to start... We can't just let anyone walk in here. You did help fix the radiators. I know Commandant Sunita's grateful for that. Maybe if... All right, I get... What can groundbreakers... Chief Tennyson don't generally hire outsiders for station jobs, but you could try asking at Sublight Salvage. They got an office on the far end of the promenade deck. Anything else? Chief Junlei Tennyson. Her family's worked on it for... They're run by Miss Hagen. Half the tramp captains and contractors in the system have worked for her. Let's say there's been times when I heard somebody needed a thing, and somebody else... Now let's say the one who had the thing suddenly found theirs missing, and the one... If anyone asks, Sublight says it got salvaged from an old wreck. If anybody could prove them criminals, the board would have put their foot down a long time past. They always got, what? Something gets nicked or someone turns up dead, Sublight says, hey, independent contractor, not our responsibility. But everyone knows what they're doing. Against is a strong word. Let's say that if you need something the board ain't inclined to sell, you might look to Sublight to get it. You might pay Sublight a shitload of bits for it, but that money gets passed on to their... Gets a mite boring at this desk, you know. Then I get to chat. Oops! That's what I... Sure, and stuff from outside the system, too. Off the interstellar freighters. That's... That'd be awful weird. Alright. Less than there used to be. Fewer freighters passing through the... Search me? I mean, don't search me, because that's my job. Get it? I reckon... Less... There's been a whole heap of good advertising.
How goes the hunt? I've been ruminating. Nothing excessive, mind you, but this...
Rizzo Spectrum Vodka.
Neighbor from above. What brings you to my Listen to the fire. Alive or dead. Rare... My flame? Shit. Little flick... Keen eyes you got there. Sanita gave me this lighter. Lay it on. They rejected it again, didn't they? I thought I could take my fungus garden and go corporate, you know?
How goes the hunt? Nothing ex- Here's the bounty payout. Nice work down there. With any luck, we can hire... With that bastard McRed dead...
Rizzo's Knocking Out Bar. A CCN 76 bar with caramel and tea-free beverages. It's time for a KYO.
If you're here for this week's magazine... Straight to the point, eh? It's almost time... Fantastic. Do be careful with it, dear. You should have a chat with Lilia Hagen in the Sublight offices. She's a dear. You'll love her. Now. Anytime.
Feels like the AC finally kicked in. I was confused when I didn't...
How are the repairs going?
Like the last of the O2 leaks. I'm ready for downtime.
Welcome to Sublight Salvage and Shipping, a legitimate business for legitimate consumers. You the one flying the unreliable... Miss Lily has been expecting you. Sure am. A few years back, they got me started on simple act. These days, I stick to H...
So you're the new captain in town. I was hoping you'd make your way to my office. Lilia Hagen, CEO and Executive Director of Aggressive Operations. Char, it's nice to see the Unreliable again. Useful ship. Hawthorne... I have a salvage job for someone. If you have a nav key to Stellar Bay, the job's yours. Interested? First, an embargo that's been active ever since the board pulled its forces off-world. Few regulations, plenty of freedom. And second, all the goodies. One of my guys in Stellar Bay has a lead on some high-grade salvage, but he went dark before he could spill the goods. We arranged a drop at the Saltuna warehouse's loading dock. Find whatever he left there and take it to Fallbrook. A few of my contractors run flights in there and out again. We keep the community lubricated with a steady supply of booze and unconventional erotica. Byzantium kids with more money than sense can thank Sublight for their good time. One of my guys filmed a Raptidon grinding on an automech. Didn't end well for anyone, including the cameraman. When the board pulled out of Monarch, they buried or sealed anything they couldn't carry off-world. Apparently, one of Catherine's teams uncovered an abandoned lab with full tanks of Alta Vitae gas. It's exactly 1 million bits per cubic meter. Before you get too excited, the only thing... dangerous stuff. Acid for the nuclein in your cells. It's no good to... Now, get going. Cat, one last thing. When you're... Could be. You'll do fine.
BNP, I can't believe it's not yours. It's unbelievable.
Sam, I must confess, I have not been cleaned for far too long. Welcome back, Cap. Now that you have acquired it.
Well done. You'll love Monarch. Exotic climate, violent native species, fascinating. You'll need to speak with Hiram Blythe. He's known as the information broker, and for good reason. If anyone knows where I can find them. I need those chemicals to revive the Hope's colonists. They can help us fight back against the board. They can help us set things right. If we don't put a stop to the board, they're going to drive this colony toward a complete... No, never. Monarch is a hotbed of political activity. I certainly wouldn't call it boring, especially if your idea... You'll want to hire the services of a skilled guide. I recommend a hunter by the name of Nyoka. Once you have everything you need, make your way to Hiram Blythe's compound. Come see me in my... Best of luck, everyone on the...
We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain.
Hey, hold on there. I gotta sign you in. Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. You may not have heard, you being new, but Stellar Bay hardly ever gets off-road traffic. Which means I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing. On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest Sal tuna in house. Swell. There's one for the logs. I'm even gonna give you your... I'm not supposed to do that. It's against procedure, but Mr. Sanjar isn't so strict. We don't get ship traffic in town. Only off-worlders who do make it out here are sublight. They got a base in Fallbrook. And thank the stars for them, or we would have run out of Rizzo's Purple Berry Crunch years ago. Oh, that'll just make Mr. Sanjar's day if you tell him. The board makes up lots of nasty stories about rap, but that's all outside. Oh, sure. They make Stellar Bay sound like a rotten place, but it's not. Anyway, Mr. Sanjar's got lots to say on that subject. Mr. Sanjar will be mighty pleased to meet you. If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I'd... Oh, and if you're headed... I got this Rizzo's Rangers Tossball poster coming in on the next sublight shipment. Signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard anything in a while. That's Bertie Holcomb. Only one of the greatest. Everyone's heard of him. Even on Monarch. We still get some of the games. Oh, you're real funny. Guess I don't feel so bad for missing what goes on. I couldn't really say, but the fancy collector types say the more people see these things, the less valuable they are. And thanks a bunch. Celia works for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building next to the bar.
Velma seem out of sorts to you?
She's always cranky.
No, I mean, more than usual.
Wouldn't know. I made it a point to stay out of her way.
Please, will someone help me? My boy's in trouble. Oh, thank you for stopping. Everyone acts like nothing's wrong. Please, you have to help me get my little Tucker back. He ran away. Oh, I just knew you were a good person. He ran out into the wilderness a few days ago. I warned him about the raptidons. Mantis, please. He's been pining for an adventure. Says he's tired of living cooped up. I warned him. A raptidon would snap him up first chance it got. I just know what... He should have listened to his mama. I promise. He's been listening to those awful broadcasts at the iconoclasts. And now I just know my boys run off to Amber Heights. That is, if a Manta Queen hasn't spooled out. Those low-life degenerates, leading innocent boys into a life of danger. Oh, they make it sound so exciting. Like it's noble to risk it all out there, fight. How noble is it to worry your loved ones? Not at all, I say. But still they preach their sermons of anarchy and rebellion to anyone who listened. That old settlement, southwest of Stellar Bay. Or that he never made it. Sprats could be nesting in his rotting body along... Or maybe marauders got him, pulled all his teeth out, crushed... Well, I guess I've got some bits saved up for a rainy day. I'll give you every last... Thank you. Oh, you look for him in Amber Heights, you hear? It's down the road south... And if you find any of them iconoclasts indoctrinating my boy, you punch...
Wrapped musk and painted eyes, right here.
And the little bastard's slippery, right? On account of its blood. So it's slide getting so I can't tell the... Don't interrupt, it's rude. But I gotta get in there. Get right in that baby... Shit, I don't know what I do. Right. What are you staring... Wait. You ain't from around... Ooh, charmer. Don't get a lot of that around here. Nice change of pace. What are you doing in Stellar Bay, stranger? Well. I'm headed back out there after I sober up. Outstanding! Our dispensary here maintains... I'm cut off for the month, on account of needing one just to... Well...
What are the chances of all the times in prison? Sounds like that.
If Velma's capable of running the warehouse, she can certainly pick up her own caffeine. Hello, dearie. What can Auntie Abigail do for you? And what a helpful young... Who's your lucky... I'm so sorry, but with the icon... Our reserves have gotten so low, I've even had to start locking the... Except for you. I'd make an exception for you if I could, my little... It's none of my business, but I have told her Dr. Williams would bump up. Now I've gone and said to... I'm afraid it'll be the better part. Believe me, there's no... Dr. Williams managed the town's allotments from his... Oh, you flatter an old woman. Me, I'm just here to be a pretty face for the customers. And to keep an extra key to the supply room. The one up... In the town graveyard, I'm afraid. Poor man was always searching for the... The graveyard's near the southern ruins. You're certainly welcome. Do be careful. Chin. If Velma's capable of running... the warehouse, she can certainly pick up a...
Oh, more or less. Great. Oh, Hiram? I ain't checked in on that man in an age. He's running the giant radio tower we lovingly call Devil's Peak. We'll be going south and west, mostly along the road. If you're more of a spelunker, Rotting River will take you into the mountain caverns. What's up? I took a job once to clear out a bit on the shorter side. Had a penchant for cards. He had a flowery presence to him. A pleasant... When we set out to hunt down the Dirty Don killed those raptidons with his bare hands. His bare fucking hands, Captain. In the end, he stood drenched in blood over the entrails of a... Yeah, day came when he tried to take on a mana queen. Got it. Oh well, live and learn. No matter how tough you are. What's up? Oh, sure, Cap.
blood at last. Stellar Bay could use some. We're not the best equipped, but scouting for rats keeps us on our toes.
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
I'll note it next to the others, sir.
Well, Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse?
You've often
Clear my schedule. This newcomer... Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review?
Noted.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy, but if you're here for him... Now, there's no need to humor me. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with tight... Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are... Yes, freedom is a...
Indeed. Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI...
On our terms, mind you.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters...
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, she'd be... The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach. And the first part involves seeing Stella... With a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive...
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Why, one of the strongest defenses in the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. These days it's overrun with marauders and... Saying... That's just what it's called. It's supposed to... Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous... What can I do for... I see. And what... Well, that's excellent. I'll see that you're... What else can I... Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes. I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employ... Not intentionally, though that's... For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of terraforming was to make them...
Here, though, the results were...
And as the other corporations began to tally their losses... Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve. It's humane. But it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of creating the perfect environment for us to enact. Oh, well, there were surely other junior executives. But I was keeping my tone flat and maintaining eye contact. You weren't...
This is why you've never been good with presentations, sir.
Very well. Indeed. MSI's then leadership wasn't enthusiastic. They insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2, along with... In a manner of speaking, many of us stayed behind, in an act of quiet but firm defiance. As the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages. I don't think I realized how far they'd stoop. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules. And yet I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but... Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly... To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community. And being cut off means slow... I'm not a man to put pride before... If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I'm... Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relation.
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could... It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off for the greater good. Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard. As far as I'm concerned, Graham seemed like a reasonable man years ago. And we both agreed that MSI's treatment of its workers was untenable. I thought reforms would be enough. I didn't realize you wanted to abolish the corporate system entirely. What can I do for you?
Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar... What? You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I still don't know anything about it. But if you want to help him, Velma's... But I'll warn you, Grim wore her patience thin a long time ago. Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck... Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or... So I can talk to him, of course. Sort of the strong... Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff. I couldn't. Hey, maybe you could ask him for me. I mean, a no would still be bad, but it won't be quite as embarrassing if you ask. Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing. He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on. Plus, he's got great legs. You think that's what I'm looking? Not in Stellar Bay. Everyone else who isn't taken. Besides, a man with a good smile and a Sorry.
Hello, stranger. Can I interest you in a raptidon? You look like a... Huh. I haven't seen her in a few days. I hope it's working okay, because no one else really seems... Wait, I see what's going on. She put you up to this so she could get a Don't get me wrong. I'd like to give her a discount. She's a real... But if I give her one, I won't hardly... You sound pretty sure. Okay, I'll do it. Once her shift ends, we'll go someplace nice.
Have you talked to Sebastian? Okay, but how did he say it? Did he say... Was he like, yay, a date with Celia? I've secretly been... Not to worry. If I look at me going on. I'm sure you've got other things. Anyhow.
I hear those rich people in Byzantium pay a handsome...
Look, you can tell Catherine the new shipment will be ready when it's ready, all right? She's welcome to come up here and... Well, if you're that friendly about it, then you definitely aren't one of Catherine's sub... I hope you can forgive my temp. First, my autoloader foreman stages a walkout, and now my chief... This again? I swear, this is the... You can tell Grimm his poster came in. You can also tell him I got a better offer for it. So now it's going to... That about No. I paid Sublight for it. So it's mine. And when Nell pays me for it, it'll be hers. She runs the betting parlor across the... She asked me about the poster once. Damn. It's staying locked up in my office until Nell shows with her money. Sure can. I got a feeling you and Catherine would get on like tumors on a pig. Take the poster then. And if I never hear another word about it, it'll be too soon. Something else on your mind? Braxton. He's in charge of getting the fish fat, but also making sure they don't get too many tumors. He's a real wizard with pharmaceuticals, but he has creative notions of working hours. Come. I can't keep working double shifts either. Since you don't seem to be constrained yourself, maybe you could check up on... Tell him Velma said to get his lazy ass down here, or she might start noticing those extra drugs he's been taking from supply. Stealing such a... And yeah, let's just say I've noticed the sterile biotics we use for the fish would get used a little fast. We're not like those corporate towns where you get fined for sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough. And Braxton knows how to get this Altoona. Caleb Herrick runs the autoloader operators. He thinks I don't pay them. He and his whole crew walked out. Say they won't come back unless I pay. You mind slapping him around? I'm joking. Mostly. Unless you could... If you can find a way to get him back to work, I'll make it worth your while. Sublight boss out of Fallbrook. Handles most goods that come in or out of Stellar Bay. Has a mouth like a ground...
Laws. Can a man enjoy the smooth men? What I am doing, ma'am, is enjoying the moment. This law's forgotten town. I recall when Stellar Bay was a proper board-affiliated town with regular shipments of Auntie Cleo's best and all the cereals. Before Sanjar took over MSI. Days of consumption and culture. When we weren't squabbling with the iconoclast. Look, you're making me...
New face, huh? A ship captain? Well, I'll be... Why don't you grab it? Me and my friends have taken our destiny into our own hands. Well, as long... But until the windfall's gone, we're riding high. See, we just... It ain't any one thing but the sum of it all, having to work longer shifts for less bits. Our supervisor, Velma, goes on and on about quarterly profits and meeting quotas. But that ain't what Sanjar promised us. Velma refuses to negotiate, so we're refusing to work. We won't go back until she agrees to pay us fair and proper. Us on Monarch. We're free from the board, you know? We have the right to lobby for better. Sure thing. Not forever, but we've each saved up our bits, and I stashed them safe in my home by the diner. I reckon we could last a week or two at least. If I knew that, I'd have tried it. Talking reasonably got me nowhere. Maybe you'll... The others wanted to blackmail her, but we're above that. So sure. Nope. I'm calling her bluff. If she wants to threaten us, we'll see how she likes it when Sanjar finds out she gave Sublight even more... I would never endorse such an untoward tactic, you know, but, well, so far it's just gossip, you know? But if there was any...
Help! Someone's been killed!
I think I'm gonna be... No! I just stepped in a dead man's... If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower... Now...
Why don't you go? Sure. What? Something happened to our stashed bit carts? But I hid it so careful. No one saw me put the lockbox. No one goes up there but me. Well, if we can't afford to skip work, we ain't got no leverage. Space me, but good. I guess you ought to tell Velma we're coming. Velma seem out of sorts to you?
I'd give you a friendly... You knocked any... Funny how... Thanks for your help. You've gotten me out of a tight spot here. Take this for your efforts. Honest work. Something else on your mind?
Whatever you do, don't mention tossing.
Oh! You... Braxton, I've never... Oh, he told me he was delivering to this house in the ruins south of town. Whole family had fallen sick and he had some meds on hand. So maybe...
you're the new face. Wow. So who do you follow?
Wait, don't tell me. You look like a hammer. I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why everyone's making such a fuss about? Ha! Maybe we're not so... Poor Isaac. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow. I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and... They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you... Good. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he...
I'll be glad to get back to work. All this sitting makes me antsy.
I wonder sometimes what they're doing on other colonies.
Uh-huh.
Think they're watching the same serials, following the same tossball games?
Mm-hmm.
You're not listening to a word, are you?
Look, my back aches and everything smells like fish. I just want to enjoy my beer.
Who the fuck are you? This ain't your alley. I don't have time for this.
Hey! What do you... Berta already pissed by those crates to... Listen, that purple and not... Oh... Wow, most of the pen... Fine, we're going.
Fine. Anyway. But that's terrible. I'm glad to hear you've dealt with them. They've been causing quite... I've been consumed with other matters of late. Still, your intervention in the matter is...
Have you had time to check? Would you look at that? The Rizzo's logo is nice and bright, and you can still smell the ink on Mr. Holcomb's signature. I can't thank you enough. Still, and you know what? Take my old tossball blocker too. Never get... You think maybe you could get some of your friends to land here too? It gets real quiet.
A visitor? I'm afraid we don't get many visitors out here. And if you've braved them, you must be exhausted. I'm sure I would remember. Now, quit fretting yourself.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I'm not... It just gets hard to remember things. Other times it's... That's nice of you.
What a pleasant surprise. And just when I... Yet... And who could? Stretch out your... That they do. Look at me, prattling on as if this gravy...
Oh, hi.
Dad, there was this other man who used to bring...
I don't know.
Mama and Papa said he came from the city. When we got... And they worked. Now we feel better than ever. He said they were making us sick. Mom and... They went to have a talk with him. Afterward...
But what's this? You're... Oh. Of course not. What better end for... Did you hear that? Time to teach...
Hello? Oh, thank the Eternal. My friends and I were scavenging here, and a Meta Queen showed up. I ran in here and... It's easier than it sounds, alright? Phew. My buddy had a key, but I ain't heard him in a while. He locked me in here and took off. Probably got munched. So look for a dead guy, I guess. Or a rat. Maybe it's an... Oh!
Ah, phew. Thank you. Now I'm out here. Oh, sure, I'm a runner. I'm used to getting all dizzy and... Hey, who's your... What? I ain't got enough... Can't... Thanks. Well, hello, and welcome to the home of the iconoclasts. I'm Rose. Please, take a pamphlet. In it, you'll find everything you need to know about... Oh no, Why, we're the only free people in... No corporation. Oh, those are just... You're welcome to stay with us, so long as you can earn your keep. That's a nice way to think about it. Graham would be our father. I suppose you can think of those two as our leaders, but they're more like... Why, he's our... Graham taught us about philosophism. I'm glad you're asking, by the... She's been with us since the beginning. She goes and finds people in the wilderness and gets them to come here. And she's liable to take your head off if you screw up, but... Graham's place is in the large building straight back. Zora's sometimes there talking with him, but usually she's... Oh, Graham settled here a long time ago. I wasn't around back then, but they say a lot of the old MSI corporate folks died here. He calls it a The new boy! Yes, he's... Last I saw him, he was headed into one of the buildings.
Hope Zora sends me on next. Welcome to the Emporium. It ain't really a store. Think of me more like a quartermaster and a chef. Cooking's my true passion. You need a... We gotta eat. Eating means hunting. Hunting means armaments. We used to let people... So Zora set up a system. You fuck up, you don't get to buy gear. Yeah, plenty. The pipes up on Milton's house burst. Someone needs to shut them off. Then there's the old guardhouse, outside town on the way to the old Bayside Terrace. That's one way to look at it. Another is, those are the only things in this whole fucking town. I ought to tell you, most of these systems are routed through one of our terminals. You might be able to... We sent Milton out to check on the comms tower a while ago. Ain't heard back. Up the hill.
All I'm saying is it ain't worth it. It's gonna taste like sulfur all the same.
Blood.
So? You gotta boil it or you'll get sick. Then all that sweetness takes the air anyhow.
Nah, don't boil it. We're gonna get sick all the same. Might as well enjoy it.
Don't boil? Do you want the runs?
Better than tasting sulfur and dirt every damn day.
Looks like I'm not the only new face around here. What do I call you, stranger? Welcome to Amber Heights, Captain. You here to join the Iconoclasts? Help us. I am not a little boy. Haven't been one for decades. No matter what my mama... According to her, stepping foot outside of the house in broad daylight is too... Don't go play with friends. Mantisaurs will tear your arms off. Don't leave the city. I stuck around way too long, ruled by her fears. I'm 42 years old, but she's... She doesn't want to see me as anything other than... You're right. I can't...
What are you buying? I'll be damned. Before you ask, no, it ain't pay.